guys, Sarah Lynch here with eXp Realty, and I'm gonna get started trying to tackle one of the most common questions that I get, which is, what does the home buying process look like? Today, in this video, we'll look at the home buying process, and I'm gonna lay it out for you step by step, including important questions, typical expenses to budget for, general best practices, and by the end of this video, I hope that you feel informed and confident in creating a plan and a timeline and know what steps to take to achieve your home buying goals. That's why I'm here. So buying and selling real estate, I hate to say it, but it is an inherently stressful process for most people. It is stressful because it's emotional. There's a lot tied up into this giant purchase. So in my experience, confronting these sort of things head on and knowing the most we can about them, just having the most facts and the most information, really sort of helps to dissolve that fear and puts you in a position where you can actually start to take action. So congratulations for being here. My job as a real estate agent, one of my most important jobs, is to take as much of the pressure off of you as possible. I do that by setting up clear expectations from the beginning, feeding you lots of information, handling all the fine details, communication, and negotiations. So as I said previously, I like to break down the home buying process into 3 major steps. And the first one is making the decision. Now, this may sound simple to some, but this is actually the most important step. It's the catalyst to your end goal. So it's wise and natural to consider your options and weigh your decisions, but humans are hardwired to keep ourselves comfortable and safe. That's just something we should all know. And this takes the form of indecisiveness and second guessing ourselves, anxiety, and often feeling stuck. So with that, I just want to share with you a common little crumb of knowledge, and that is there's a common saying in real estate that goes, don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. So get informed and make that decision. But the first step that I like to advise my clients on is meet with a lender. Money is a taboo topic that not a lot of people grow up comfortable talking about or embracing, but repeat after me, money is not evil. It's just a tool for getting ourselves from point A to point B, and regardless of what financial situation you're in, you can always improve. So the first step to doing that is just looking at your situation, and there's no better person to help you with that than a lender in the mortgage situation, because your conversation with them will help reveal where you are financially, help you look at what your credit score is. They'll help you determine exactly what price point you can start looking at houses at, and the best loan type of options based on your personal needs. So yeah, is your credit good? Have you been at the same job for at least 2 years? Again, these are just common things that are important in getting a loan for a house if you're not paying for it in cash, which most people do not. Thing that you will learn at a meeting with a lender, or you can learn at a meeting with a lender, are about your closing costs. So closing costs are typically 2 to 5% of the purchase price. And this is money that you need to be prepared to bring to the table in addition to your down payment when you're buying a home. Key factors in determining closing costs include the loan program that you are using, your credit scores, how much of a down payment that you have, and the property type and occupancy. So in having this conversation with a lender or a couple lenders, you'll learn exactly where you stand and exactly how much you stand to be putting out of pocket when you do go to make your offer and close on your house. When we have our house options dialed in, we can crank out more specific numbers, but at least you'll have a general gauge so you know what your savings account needs to look like moving into the process. So if you already have an agent, or you know someone that you want to work with, for sure, I highly recommend reaching out to that real estate agent and asking them what lenders they recommend. Now, real estate agents are not incentivized by giving referrals from their clients to the lenders that they work with. The reason why we do this is because the vendors that real estate agents work with in the industry are their teammates. And when you go into a real estate transaction and are making an offer and are in the process of buying a house, it's important to go at it with a team approach. This just gives you the best odds for everything working out for you. If you don't have a real estate agent in mind that you know that you want to work with, the primary thing that I tell my clients is your real estate agent should be someone that you know, like, and trust. Really, our job is a service industry job. We're truly here to hear what your needs are and to help you. This industry is amazing in that it's just built on reciprocity, and what goes around comes around, and we're incentivized to be good people and to be helpful and really to be your advocate. That's our job. We work for you to do exactly what you ask us to do, as long as it's legal. So once you find a real estate agent that you know, like, and trust, the things that you're going to talk about with them are areas that you need to just decide on areas that you want to live in. And that usually includes amenities in the neighborhood, distance from work, school, and what type of community that you want to live in, whether you prefer a community with an HOA or not, whether you want to be in a new home or a used home. These are all just general things that you'll need to be thinking about and deciding from the beginning. So as I said previously, if you haven't spoken to a lender, your real estate agent should recommend or can recommend a couple lenders to you to talk with. We always recommend obviously talking to at least one, but comparing your situation to two different lenders. You may enjoy talking to one, feel like you're a better fit with one, and also lenders do tend to vary in rates slightly, so you can actually save a little bit of money in the home buying process by shopping around a little bit with your lenders, but that's a whole nother video. So once you have decided on where you want to live and you know about what your budget is, then we need to just get your pre-qualification form dialed in from the lender. That way, when we do start house shopping, we are ready to go. So that brings us to our next step. So once you've met with your real estate agent and you have your pre-qualification dialed in, then you start searching for homes. It's the fun part. So your realtor will explain the procedure and we'll dial in your search on automatic. These days, a lot of times, clients find their own homes just because it's so easy to shop around on the internet. But agents are definitely sending you homes daily, weekly, if they exist. And this tends to take the longest out of the whole part of the process. Everything so far is pretty fast. You can get that done in a couple days. Phone calls to lenders and figuring out your financial situation. But yeah, the shopping for homes, in general, I would say that this takes most people about 2 to 4 months, but everyone's situation is completely different. So yeah, you don't want to rush into it, but you also don't want to be too picky. There really is no such thing as a perfect house. This seems like a big secret, but it's not. I just like to recommend that my clients look at lots of houses so they can compare and contrast and then break it down and just figure out what is the best for them based on what is available. Home buyers' timelines will really play into this too. Like if there's a specific date that you need to be moved by, obviously that'll help determine how picky you can and cannot be. So when then the day comes and you find your house that you would like to make an offer on. And ideally your offer gets accepted. This is when the due diligence period starts. This is when your realtor really starts to go to work for you. And this is when we do neighborhood searches and specific research for each property. We look at comparable homes that have sold in the area. Once the contract is accepted, then this is when we turn into the escrow period, which is typically about 30 to 45 days. And this is when we say we open escrow, which basically just means we're depositing your earnest money or your deposit on the house, which is usually about 1% of the purchase price or your offer price, to a neutral third party to hold your money in safekeeping until we all come to the closing table and that money is dispersed accordingly. So typically once escrow is opened and we're in the contract period, sellers typically can't cancel the contract after this point unless the buyer breaches the contract. But at this point, the buyer does have a lot of options to, within the first 10-day inspection period, the buyer has a lot of options to cancel a contract then based on findings from the inspections that happened during this period. This is when we order any pertinent home inspections, we review documents associated with the house, and this includes a title, looking at the title report, making sure that the title is free and clear and there's no encumbrances on the title. And this is when we just do a really thorough job, because this 10-day period is sort of the make or break period in terms of when you as the buyer really get to decide whether this is the house. So if the document reviews come back good and the home inspection comes back good, that all usually happens within the first 10 to 15 days. And then after that, then the bank orders an appraisal, and the appraisal is an important part of the process, because this is what the bank uses to determine that the house is worth what you are paying for it. And this is important because with a mortgage, the bank essentially holds title to your home until it's paid, free and clear. So they want to make sure that if you default on your loan, that they'll be able to get their money back in terms of if they have to foreclose or sell. The appraisal is ordered, and again, hopefully it comes back at your purchase price or better, but there are times when it comes back lower, and there are options to contest and negotiate, and there are lots of possible solutions to this, but it's case by case, and I'm happy to discuss this in depth with anyone, or do another video on another time. Meanwhile, you have been communicating with your lender regularly, submitting a list of required and current financial documents such as pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, and this all happens in the 20 to 30 day, final 20 to 30 days after you submitted your offer and it got approved. And ideally it's all good, and hopefully about by day 27, the underwriter signs off on the financing approval, and at this point then we schedule signing for the documents with the title company or escrow company, usually in the last 5 days of before closing, and then the buyers meet at the escrow or title office to sign the final paperwork, and then the seller comes in on their appointment and does the same thing. They sign paperwork. Funds are wired and arrive at the escrow office. The title company sends all the paperwork to the county to record, and then you meet up with your agent and get the keys to your house, and the house is yours. Breaking down the timeline a little bit more, so I just say it really depends on the buyer, but on average, most buyers go through this process within 2 to 4 months. Like I said before, I always recommend looking at more properties than less, so you have comparisons, and understand that when choosing your house, I always like to recommend lifestyle is the most important thing to consider in all of this. Know what is important to you in achieving your lifestyle goals, because things like, you know, carpeted floors or, you know, popcorn ceilings or whatever can always be changed, but the proximity to your favorite restaurants or walkability or, you know, the commute to your job, that's not as easy to, obviously not as easy to change. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down for you one last time. 3 steps. Make the decision. If you've been thinking about it for a long time, do the research, get together with your partner, find people to talk to, just make the decision and move forward. You're not gonna get anywhere unless you start to take action. The hardest thing is just showing up. I promise you it all sort of just falls together after that, especially when you hire a professional. This is not a DIY situation. Buying a home is not a DIY situation. This is, if there's ever a time in your life to hire a professional, this is it, right? So hire the professional, get informed, hire the professional, and start shopping for houses. Find the house that you want and make an offer. Thanks for watching today. I hope you feel more confident and informed about the home buying process, and I hope you're feeling ready to make that first step and move forward. After you've made the decision, or if you have more questions about the home buying process, send me a message, text, call, DM me on Instagram, whatever. I'm open to all forms of communication, whatever is best and feels best for you. And I will always get back to you within 24 hours. I look forward to talking to you guys. Have a great week. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe.